Yes, now we are on live. Um, Hello, dear viewers. I'm inviting you from BBF World News Virtual Studio. Today, the topic has been designed. The topic name is role of OIC in pandemic situation, COVID-19 pandemic situation. And today we have two very distinguished guests. Ambassador Yousef Ramadan, the ambassador of Palestine in Bangladesh, and also he is Dean of OIC Diplomatic Corps in Dhaka. We have also other very distinguished guests, Ambassador Waliur Rahaman, former Secretary, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Bangladesh, and also he is Chairman of Bangladesh Heritage Foundation. Today we'll be talking about a few issues which is pretty much important about OIC countries. Bangladesh urged the OIC to adopt historic approach for protecting migrant workers residing OIC member states, especially Middle East in COVID-19. OIC member states need to provide utmost importance on issue of job retention of the migrant workers. Today, I'll be trying to start with Ambassador Waliur Rahman. Especially Bangladesh is also, we are suffering a lot, and OIC could be our great support partner. So, Ambassador Waliur Rahman, I'm sure that you are hearing me. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Ambassador Waliur Rahman?
Yes.
Hello? Yeah.
I can hear, yes.
Yes. So if you could begin with this. Yes, please. Yes. Rahman.
Hello? You want me to speak?
Yes.
Okay. Now,
yeah, I want you to speak. Yes, please. Please.
Thanks. First of all,
the role of OIC, yes.
It's a great honor to be here in the good company of Brother Yousef Ramadan. Palestine is very close to me, and I have been, I served for 1 year at the OIC myself, and we did a lot of things together. Ahmadu Karim Gaye was the Secretary General. Now you see, the leadership in the OIC is very important. I was there for only 1 year. In 1 year, we performed areas in places all over the world, Islamic world, vis-a-vis the West, where we succeeded, and succeeded very well. Now then, at that time, it was exactly 1988, long time ago. And the OIC membership was together. We were absolutely together. Now, unfortunately, today we are a house divided amongst ourselves. Now, the question that our coordinator, Professor Masud, has posed in the beginning is very relevant. Now, relevant because COVID-19 is not limited to a particular country or a particular area. It is affected all the countries of the world, including all the OIC countries. And we know that the world today is quite different from what it was even 4 or 5 months ago. Now, in this particular moment, Ambassador Ramadan, I'm addressing you also, that OIC had a tremendous possibility of working together and doing something together. Unfortunately, without going into the details, I'll have time to talk about details. There are problems in-house, the OIC. And perhaps that is one of the reasons, perhaps, why OIC is not being able to give the kind of leadership to the OIC world. The world of OIC is a very huge world. It's a big world. It's a rich world. It's a very important world. Then the role that we could play in 1988, for example, we cannot play today. And the reasons are very well known to you. At a later time, I'll be very happy to talk about it. What are the problems that we are facing with now? Because if we know the problems, perhaps this meeting, this webinar today will be useful for all of us, for those who are listening to us, and also for understanding us better. Today I'm talking to you in a way that I knew Brother Arafat so well, and it is here he's given us a signature. Well, I received him in Dhaka years ago, and then my friend, the great leader, one of the greatest leaders in the Muslim world, he was so kind. He was so kind that he said that, look, my brother, I cannot leave Dhaka without giving me a photo with my signature. And I preserve it with me with great honor. This is the guy, this is the person who brought the Islamic countries together, who brought the Ummah together. And he is the guy for whom we had this the Islam small group under His Excellency, His Majesty King of Morocco. In Morocco, we used to go and meet in that meeting. So it was all because of him. But today, I do not hear about that committee anymore. I do not know that any meeting is taking place because there are problems amongst ourselves. But then I am sure, I'm an optimistic person, that we shall be able to get together again and bring back the kind of a Islamic solidarity that we had shown before, and we can do it today also. But then what we need is leadership, and I think on that particular account, I would like to hear Brother Ambassador Yousef Ramadan more about it.
Thank you so much. So let me come back to Ambassador Yousef Ramadan, the Ambassador of Palestine in Bangladesh.
I cannot agree more.
Also, he is the Dean of the OIC Diplomatic Corps in Bangladesh as well. So
good evening. First of all, good evening.
So my question is to Ambassador Yousef Ramadan. Yes.
I cannot hear you. What was the question?
Yes. My question was, is the Israeli Prime Minister was planning to extend their occupation in Palestinian land, but due to world rejection, they are bound to back off. So if you respond this question, yes.
Okay, first of all,
the Israeli occupation.
Assalamu alaikum for everybody, especially for Ambassador Waliur Rahman. I appreciate everything you have said, and I cannot agree more. I think let's start with the OIC issue, and then we come back to the other important issue, equally Palestinian issue. Related to the OIC, I believe the relationship among the country, the state, the member state of the OIC reflect the relationship within the OIC. There is a lot of conflict these days going on among member states. There is a lot of disputes and unfortunately, that is getting wide. The gap is getting wider and wider. Now, if we compare today with the time you spoke about King Hassan of Morocco, the leader we had at that time they had so much wisdom. That wisdom gave them an immunity not to allow external interference in the internal affair of their own country.
Right.
Unfortunately, we don't have that anymore. Today, the superpower, especially Trump administration, this is unprecedented administration, they
Yes.
interfere in small detail of our internal affairs of each and everything. And unfortunately, many of those Muslim countries, they have bowed their head to Mr. Trump, and they have accepted most of his strategy and policy. No resistance. We do not see resistance. Only few countries are resisting them. They want their interest on the expense of our people. In the old days, they find rejection and they find struggle against those kind of interference. So first of all, in order to have a good leadership among the OIC, a strong leadership among the OIC, we have we have to solve this dispute among the OIC country. And those dispute, unfortunately, it's getting every day wider and wider. And if we don't put an end for it, I think the whole organization is in jeopardy. This is related to the OIC. But I am a very optimistic person, and I believe there will always be brave leaders who will take the initiative in order to find a common ground for all those or most of
Yes.
those Muslim countries. Hopefully, it will be soon. If the last
Yes.
1 or 2 decades were not able to do so, I still hope that COVID-19 will be able to do something about this issue. To that level, I'm optimistic. And now, if we go a little bit to Palestine, yes, you know, the world is facing this pandemic for the last, this is the 7th month. Started in December in China, and now we are in July, so it's almost close to 7 months, this pandemic. But the world should know that we have a pandemic in Palestine which been there for 72 years, since 1948, and we're facing this pandemic. And it's much more dangerous than COVID-19. And
Yes.
and caused more harm to the Palestinian people and to the Arab world and to the Muslim world 100 times more than COVID-19. And we're still struggling against it, and we're still fighting against it, and we're still mobilizing all our forces in order to put an end for this pandemic, dangerous pandemic. Prime Minister Netanyahu, in order to gain more votes during the election, he suggested that he would extend the occupation to another 30% of the West Bank land, which is called the Jordan Valley. And Jordan Valley, it's the main source of our income. One of the major source of our income is the Jordan Valley. And if he does so, that means we will have no border with Jordan. The state of Palestine will have no border with anyone except with Israel. And that is another siege. And that policy, we believe it is an apartheid policy. It's not a human policy. It's not related to humanity. But this, unfortunately, this plan, which was made by or proposed by Donald Trump, represent the right-wing plan or the right-wing strategy of Israel. So we appreciate highly, number one, the European Union, who stood firmly with Palestine against this policy. And I believe that this position of the European, I have not seen, or we have not witnessed such a position before. It's unprecedented one. But when the European meant business, they achieved something. They rejected the plan. They said they will not recognize it, and there will be a consequences. And that is the main point here, that there will be a consequences. Arab also and Muslim state, OIC held a conference related to this issue, expressed the full support, and so on, so on. But normally we are having this kind of support for the last 3 decades, 2-3 decades, but it's only wording, no action in it. And Israel says, okay, you can say whatever you want, and we can do whatever we want. That is their policy. Now, we want to change that. Israel should know that if they continue not to fulfill their obligation toward the international law, there will be a consequences. When Israel discover that, they will not do any more reckless policy. But we, the Palestinian, believe, we have a strong belief that the will of our people, after, of course, the will of Almighty Allah, the will of our people are capable to destroy any plan, any plan which might destroy the peace process or to destroy our legitimate right. So we have a very limited sources. That is true. We depend on donation, and we depend on taxes collected from our people. Those taxes, Israel collect them and supposed to pay back to us on a monthly basis. In total, about $2.5 billion annually. And they are not paying this money to us because we are resisting their policy, their strategy, and their destructive plan. But we will continue to resist. Even if we get a little hungry, it doesn't matter, because our land is much more valuable to us than our stomach. OIC, I think the OIC, as I said before, related to COVID-19, I think they were not bad. They did something really perfect. That I believe that the Islamic Solidarity Fund has paid approximately over $700 million to over 15 countries, those underdeveloping countries. And they have supported mainly the African country. They have sent great support to Afghanistan. We see in Palestine. I'll give you an example related. If we compare, immediately after COVID-19 broke, after this pandemic broke, immediately the European Union paid to Palestine 71 million euro to cope with this pandemic. Now, we receive other support from different countries like Japan, like China, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Turkey, and so on. We did receive, but the European were the most generous among all. $71 million. Although we spent $120 million to fight this pandemic, and so far we succeed, because we have only like around 5,000 cases, and we have less than 20 people we lost, 20 people dead. We took very strong measures. It was very successful measure. We're, I think, from the top 10 countries in the world. With those limited sources, with that we are under occupation, that we don't have a complete sovereignty. With all that, we were able to succeed, to fight the pandemic. And so far, the casualty, we are of course sorry for the 20 people that we lost, but still number 20, if you compare it with about 6.6 million people in Palestine living, I think it's not a big number.
Well, Excellency, if I may respond to what you said, I entirely agree with you. And as a matter of fact, it's good that you see I have come in face to face with you today, because it is me who attended about 6 Al-Quds committee meeting in Morocco, in Rabat, in Casablanca, and in another place in Morocco. And you see, that time, as you said rightly, that it was a different OIC. It was totally different leadership that we used to work on. We had an ambition, we had a plan, and we were going to get it. But unfortunately, what is happening today, you have explained in great detail. I entirely agree with you, and of course sympathy and whatever we have is with you. And then the most unhappy part, as you said very well, that we are divided amongst ourselves because of some foreign countries, and you have mentioned about the United States of America, particularly the present administration, for reasons I really do not understand yet. Because when I was in New York and Geneva, we have been always fighting for the PLO Palestine cause. We have been voting for the Palestine resolutions in the General Assembly and in the Security Council when we were members there twice. And it has been a progress. It has been a battle. But in battle, we were winning. But today, as you said very well, the Gerard Kushner report, which is, of course, I personally totally reject. It is no plan. It is a plan to give the entire Palestine back into the lap of Mr. Netanyahu. Now, the good news, as you said very well, is that nobody, excepting a few, even in America, even in the United States of America, it is Mr. Trump and his family, where Kushner is his son-in-law. Not many Republicans also don't accept it. So that's the I will say the interesting part of it, and Democrats, of course, don't accept it. So, Excellency, today that part of the battle, I think we are winning, and the European Union, I agree with you, for the first time ever, for the first time that I have seen them coming together to fight a cause, and the cause of Palestine. And of course, there is a good reason for that. You see, after the Madrid agreement, then we had the Oslo agreement. The Oslo agreement is so important, and we all agreed, entire world agreed, that Oslo agreement is the only way to go to a solution, acceptable solution. And we agreed, and we proceeded quite a long distance. It is not the handshake. 2 handshakes took place in the White House. There are problems were there, but then, you see, as you said, I'm optimistic. At the same time, I'll say that today, even some of the Israelis, Excellency, the settlers do not agree with the project of Mr. Netanyahu. This is the beauty, I said, beauty of it. Is settlers do not agree. Because settlers do not want to have a permanent enmity with the Palestinian population. Because this is an area which belongs to Palestine. This is an area which belong to the Palestinian population and the people, historically correct. Therefore, and they know, many of them settlers who have come from Russia, for example, they understand, they know history of Palestine. They happen to be Jews, but then they understand. So that's the point which is very important. It happened only last week. Now, Excellency, insofar as this situation is concerned, as you said, I agree with you that there have been the division in the body politic of the OIC. And I say unfortunate because I have seen the best of OIC. And I fought in New York, I fought in Geneva, in all the meetings for the Palestine cause. But then today, I do not see that kind of elan, the kind of psychological effort by the Islamic countries to fight as we fought in every forum, Excellency, the third committee, sixth committee, the General Assembly, Security Council. We fought and we got a good hearing from everybody. Even those who did not agree with us, they said, no, no, you have a point. We have a point. So having said that, Excellency, I will just make a small point about COVID-19. Yes, you are right. The Islamic Solidarity Fund, which I operated along with Secretary General Amadou Karim Gaye, the great son of Senegal, and with him we worked in that. And Islamic Solidarity Fund is doing a good job, but then their fund is very small, Excellency. That fund should be refunded. There should be more money, and that money is not particularly available. But then, having said that, I will still say that, look, the Solidarity Fund has kept our face. I feel at least happy that, no, they have done something. This is important, particularly in Afghanistan and the African countries. Now, but then I expected much more than this, Excellency. I expected more than this, particularly from the rich Arab countries, beginning with Saudi Arabia and the Gulf states. But then it didn't happen, Excellency. But then that's a reality we have to accept. But reality having been accepted, I say that that the cause of Palestine is there, will be there, and we shall fight for that. And as I said, I'm optimistic because I have seen, Excellency, I have been a part of that. As I said, that I have been a soldier. I'm a land soldier, Excellency. I have been fighting, and I don't know how my brother Masud found me out, because we never discussed with him about Palestine cause, but he found me out. How, I don't know. And I thank Brother Masud that he has given me an opportunity. Well, this is very much in me and with me, because I fought for that. And Excellency, one little thing that I want to say here, that COVID-19, of course, we are suffering a lot, but then same time, Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina's leadership is helping us, and we shall overcome this sooner than later. We have a large population, that's one problem. But then we are going to slow down from the, I think from the next week of month of July. But then at the same time, as I said in the beginning, the world will not be the same again. And we have to look for a world now where we will not forget, must not forget the cause of Palestine, and we shall make it. And here, the European Union, I have many things to say about them, like the GCOIC agreement on nuclear armaments with Iran. USA has withdrawn, but the European Union did not show the kind of solidarity that they should have shown. Having said that, I'll say that European Union is a body which is there solidly behind you and us, and I'm proud of that. That something has happened. I didn't expect it, because when the Kushner report was proposed, I said, well, let us see. I waited. But now it is not the countries, it is the settlers themselves. They said that no, we do not want it. We want a settlement, a permanent settlement. This is very interesting. And that is why Netanyahu, as you may have seen, that he has stopped short of moving ahead. And particularly his opposite number, who is waiting for becoming the next prime minister, he is not also with Mr. Netanyahu. That's the big thing. Now, at the same time, Excellency, I'll just put it to your kind attention that look what is happening in Libya, for example. That's an example I feel so bad about. I've been to this country for many other reasons. This United Nations supported body, which is working in Libya. Now, Islamic country, members of the OIC, I'll not take names, you know the names. Some countries are supporting the illegitimate government of Mr. Haftar, and some countries are supporting the legitimate government led by the United Nations. Why should it be like that? In Islamic countries, we should sit together and agree that, look, this is our cause. Libya is our cause. And the way Muammar Gaddafi was murdered is something that history will not forget, and history will not forget. No matter what may be the grievances against him. But then this is the history of we suffered by the colonies, during the colonies, Excellency, and you are suffering today, and we are with you because we also suffered. And I'm sure that we shall overcome. I'm absolutely certain that we shall overcome, but then it will take some time. Like amongst us, the Gulf states, they have to resolve their problems. The Yemeni issue has to be resolved. I'm not blaming anybody, Excellency, but I feel bad. My heart bleeds when I see that the problem between Qatar and other GCC countries, this is absolutely unnecessary. It is unnecessary. They must do everything possible, Excellency, to get together, resolve the problem. Why? Because the other countries, particularly from some Western, particularly the Trump administration, I'm taking name of the Trump administration, the ultra-rightist neocon administration in Washington, D.C. They are taking advantage of this. Why should we allow them, Excellency? We must not allow them to do it anymore. So this is my humble will appeal to all concerned that we must resolve the problems. We must resolve the problems. And again, come back to real OIC that we were before. OIC to support the cause of Palestine, to help the Palestine, to make sure that the Oslo Agreement, two-state solution, is achieved ultimately. And I'm optimistic we shall achieve it.
I think what you have mentioned now, what you have just said now, was really something we appreciate that very much, and that shows how knowledgeable person of knowledge and wisdom you are. The situation, as I said before, the problem in the OIC, the main problem of the OIC is that those active and effective countries in the OIC, those are the country who have the dispute. So this is the most important thing. This is the disaster. We have the problem in Syria, and then you have a division among the OIC country. Some people are with and some people are against. And then we had a problem in Iraq, and the same thing happened. Some with and some against. Then Libya, the same thing. And then Yemen, the same thing. And the people who are involved in all these troubles and problem and dispute are the major countries in the OIC. So what do you expect if leadership of the OIC, those 10 or 12 or 15 main countries of the OIC, they cannot agree on a small thing? So how can they pose any, I mean, reasonable fact? We wanted to benefit from OIC as a Muslim countries, as a Muslim people, as much as we can.
Yes.
The more powerful they are, the more we are, the more we can give. But if they have, they cannot agree on everything, almost on everything they cannot agree. The only thing I think so far they agree upon is the Palestinian issue, the majority.
Yes.
I'm so glad that they have one thing to agree upon. This is one issue.
Yes, no, that's a very good point.
The other issue, I want to little go back to the Israeli society, as you just mentioned now. It's always in Israel, since the establishment of this state, it depends on the shepherd. The sheep follow the shepherd. It depends on the prime minister. If the prime minister is from the right wing, then you can see the right wing among the people are mounting, getting more and more and more hardliner. And if prime minister comes like Rabin, for example, who really wanted peace. I remember that during the time he was in power as a prime minister, we believe that there was a shift among the Israeli society from right to the center to the left. They were more moderate. They understood the situation more better. They were, majority of them, they were very fair. Fair if we compare not with what we want exactly, but what is possible to get. And we thought, in order to make peace with Israel and stop the bloodshed, we have accepted only 22% of our land of historical Palestine. Imagine to which level that we were able to compromise to give a 78% of our land and accept only 22%. I think they have, the right wing has misinterpretation of our acceptance of peace. They believe, or they interpret that this is a weakness among the Palestinians, and since they're weak, so why don't we take more and more land? And then there will be a time when there will be no Palestine at all. It will be all under occupation completely. All will be Israel, and the world will say this is a fact. We have to deal with it, and that's it. But the reasonable people and the wise people in Israeli society believe that the Palestinians who were able to face more than 18 conquerors 2,000 years before BC till today, they were able to stand against all the invader. They fought all the invader and they won. They will also win against the Jewish state, if we call it. So we are a people who will never give up. No, under any condition or circumstances, giving up our right is impossible. It's quite impossible. That was for my father, for me, and for my children, and for the generation to come. We will continue. But what we need, our struggle or our will is not enough. If we don't have backup from our Muslim and our Arab brothers, really back up, real one, I think if this problem will be solved within 5 years, it will take another 50 years. The more support we have behind our back, the quicker the solution will be.
Yeah.
And it will be better not only for the Middle East, but for the whole world. If this area, rich area, live in peaceful and harmony for all its people, I think it's much better for Europe, because Europe is our northern neighbor, for the Muslim and for the Arab. Then we will be looking
Yeah.
for other stuff like developing and enhancing in whatever the world is doing. We want it to be part of the development, part in technology, in everything, in research, in everything. But unfortunately, we are busy fighting this pandemic, 72 years old pandemic in Palestine. It is the only country in the whole world which does not respect international law or international community. I think this is a black stain in the face of every human being who have a respect for international law, and especially Arabs and Muslims. European as well, because they believe that there is value to be respected. And where is those values? When it comes to the Palestinian right, I don't see those values they talk about. West and in general, the West,
Yeah.
and especially in the United States, we always hear from their leadership values, principle, democracy, human rights, and all this.
Yeah.
It's unfortunately, it's not true. It's not true. Unless if they deal with human being according to the color or to the religion or to the race or whatever. That's another issue. It seems to be like this, that white or non-Muslim, they have more right than black or dark skin color. So what we want to know is that the people, whoever fight, whoever support Palestine, he will not be only supporting Palestine. He will not be only supporting the people of Palestine. He will be, or she will be, supporting justice. And that's what we want. We want people to support justice. Justice for all. Hopefully, there will be a time soon.
Yeah.
We will be able to keep all our differences aside and look for the benefit of our own people, for the benefit of our own Muslim people. We work as one man, as one hand. We can achieve a lot. Believe me, we have a scientist, very professional, very wise, very important scientist, but unfortunately, they have no place in our countries. They leave and they go to the West and they work there. Those people, they would love to come back and work if you provide them with respect, with democracy, and with harmony. And when you provide your people with democracy, then your leader does not need the help of any superpower to keep him in power. His people will protect him. The people who elect him will protect him. There is a lot of things to be said, but unfortunately, not everything can be said. This is a fact.
Your Excellency, if I may, I know I don't think we have much more time, but I'll just make two small points. I entirely agree with you, and you have made it very beautifully
Yes.
expressed position of your country and yourself vis-a-vis the colonial powers. I call them colonial powers, whoever it is, modern day colonial power. And I know that history has uh, traveled a long way uh, from the Second World War time. The UN Charter we have made a long progress towards certain amount of peace. Not in everything, every possible way, but we have at least 242. We have at least 242. And this is something that I always remember. And then we have 466. So these are the resolutions which are important for us. And particularly so because this is the rule of international law. And international law is our support of countries like you and us. We depend on that because we are law-abiding citizens. And we fought in Bangladesh a war of liberation. And that also just as a follow-up of the law, the legal procedure. We won the war, we won the election, and the elected leaders decided to have an independent Bangladesh, and we got it. And you are our great honored guest in Bangladesh, Excellency. Now, history has proved time and again that justice shall prevail. Excellency, one small thing I'll say, then I'll stop. It is not a surprise that in my family, my sister-in-law is married to a Palestinian gentleman. They are now in Toronto. So this is something which is very much here, you see. And I negotiated their wedding. It is me, Excellency. Then I gave him Bangladesh citizenship when President Ashad was in power. So, Excellency, this is one area that why I'm personally so committed to that. But secondly, it is law. Now, when I was in Jeddah in the OIC, we did two things. Made Noor Misawari, you know this Mindanao war going on, and it's still there, but not Noor Misawari's faction. Now, we got Noor Misawari to Jeddah, and we brought peace. We had all the parties together in Jeddah, Excellency, and they signed a peace paper. The Noor Misawari is no more in the fight. Then secondly, what we did, in Bangladesh, we had 300,000 Rohingya refugees in 1975 to 76, 77, in 2 years. And one of the purposes of my being in Jeddah, in the OIC, was to make sure that we can get these 300,000 Rohingyas back to Myanmar, Burma. At that time, it was used to be called Burma. So you see, OIC had so much of respect and authority, respect that people listen to OIC. So when Ahmadu Karim Gaye gave me the task of organizing a meeting between the Burmese president and the Bangladeshi president, I organized that meeting in Dhaka, another meeting in Rangoon. And in 3 months' time, the agreement was signed in 1988, Excellency. 1988, right, in the month of July. And in 3 months' time, Excellency, all 300 Rohingyas, they went back to Burma. So see, we had the goodwill. Islamic Secretariat, OIC, Islamic countries, body OIC, had the goodwill and the power. The authority was moral authority. We didn't have any arms and planes and tanks. But OIC has the moral authority, Excellency. And today, while I'm talking to you, thanks to my brother Masud, Professor Masud, that I look forward to the day, Excellency, when OIC will get back that authority and that honor, that not power, but that honor. Honor is the power, Excellency. And I'm looking forward to that day.
Yes, if you compare those days with today, that OIC was really an OIC because we were united, and unity means power, and unity will be respected.
Yes.
But
yes.
today we don't have it. So why
Absolutely.
should he respect us?
Absolutely.
Why?
Yes.
That's the question. We have to be realistic. We have to have something called soul searching in our history. We go a little bit back and see where did we make the mistake? Where is the mistake? Because if we cannot identify our mistake, we cannot correct our future. We cannot make future. So we have to stop blaming this and that. We should start blaming ourselves.
I agree.
And then
I agree.
this is what we always, I think, believe. And we as a
Excellency,
Palestinian today,
Ambassador.
we believe we should do that ourselves. As a Palestinian, we should do this soul searching and then check where is the mistake, where did we fail, so we do not commit again mistake. Now we believe among the Palestinian people, we have a problem between Fatah and Hamas. This is the most dangerous problem. After the occupation is this problem. We work hard day and night in order to compromise, to come to an agreement with our brothers in Hamas. They are our brothers. Whatever they do, whatever their policy, they are our brothers. We believe them, we trust them, we like them, we protect them. But finally, okay, we disagree in certain issues, fine. But today, we have fully agreed, we and them, related to the Palestinian land, we are on the same boat. There was a meeting 1 week ago between two leadership, the Central Committee, Secretary of the Central Committee, General Jibril Urjoub, and there was also the Deputy Secretary General of the Hamas. They had a strong meeting and they have very fruitful result, and they both agreed that we as Fatah and Hamas should work together in order to face this policy, Israeli policy, apartheid policy. So we are happy about this issue, but there's a lot of things to be done. Hopefully that the Muslim state can really have the will to sort out all their problems, because this is the best benefit for their people. And if anybody believes that he can get support from the East or the West, he is mistaken. The only power you can get is from your own people and from your own brothers, from your own Muslim brothers from other countries. If they're strong, you're strong. When they're weak, you become weaker too. So hopefully that things will change. We had this problem when the Mughal came and occupied most of our countries in the Middle East and in the Arab world and the Muslim world. We were just like today, almost like today, dispute and problem and so on among each other. And then from nowhere came Salahuddin al-Ayyubi, liberated everything, liberated Palestine from the Crusaders. And
Yes,
we were again alive, strong, united, and powerful. So it is time. We're looking for somebody like Salahuddin today.
Absolutely, I agree with you.
It's not too much to ask.
Yes,
We have
yes,
1.6 billion people, the Muslim world. I think
yes.
this 1.6 are capable to produce one Salahuddin.
Yes, Excellency. I know. I agree with you, and the best news that I have read in newspaper too. Sorry.
I have a.
Yes, I was telling Excellency that the good.
Yes, I hope you can hear me. You can hear me, Excellency, Ambassador.
Yes, I can. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I have a particular question. The LDCs and also the other developing OIC member states, by supplying medical equipments or other materials to Bangladesh, and also the developing part, as well as the LDCs. So if you could respond these questions in particular, Ambassador Waliur Rahman.
Say it again. Yeah. It's not very clear. It's not very clear.
Can you hear me?
Please repeat the question.
I'm asking
it's not very clear.
the developed OIC member states. Yeah, I'm asking the OIC developed part, the developed OIC member states may assist LDCs and also other developing OIC member states by supplying either medical equipment and other materials in this COVID situation. If you respond to this question, yes.
It's a very good.
The OIC developed part. Yeah.
It's a very legitimate question, and my brother, I can only say that my first initial statement was the division amongst the OIC member states, and I also gave you an example. 1988, two most difficult issues in the Islamic world, we resolved through negotiations, through leadership.
Yeah.
Now, when we had a leader like Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, father of Bangladesh, his first statement when he met in OIC in Lahore, his second paragraph was on Palestine. Then when in the United Nations in 1974, September 25, third paragraph was on Palestine. And of course, the present Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, she has been working and fighting for the cause of the Palestinians. And then we are in the forefront, Excellency. And of course, as Brother Masud said, yes, today, it's the time has come, perhaps the OIC states could send some of the materials to fight the COVID-19 pandemic in my country. That is for me is almost like a dream, because there is a problem, as I told you, that Haftar is fighting against the United Nations body in Libya. So where are we today? Now we are fighting amongst ourselves. The GCC countries are fighting amongst themselves, Excellency. I know that I am not at all pessimistic. I am optimistic. Things are getting better in the GCC countries. There are movements, Excellency. They are meeting now. And I am happy about it, because they must get together. The GCC countries itself is a very powerful body amongst the OIC countries. So even if we do not get some instruments, etc., from the OIC countries to fight the COVID-19 in Bangladesh, for a larger benefit, the future world, we would like to see a support and coalition and agreement, a unity amongst the OIC countries. That is more important for the Islamic world than a particular country. And I'm saying this with all humility, Excellency, and my support and sympathy with my friend, brother, our coordinator, Masud, that even if it doesn't happen, I would pray to Allah that we get the GCC countries together. And if they get together, you know, the capacity of the GCC countries is something that you and I know how much it is. So once they get together, Excellency, there will be no Libya problem. Once they get together, Excellency, there will be no problem that we are seeing it today. And the pressure on Israel will be even greater than it is today. But fortunately for us, the entire EU countries, they have supported the cause of Palestine, and we are with them. I take my hats off, Excellency. I say bravo to them.
Yeah,
they have done it, and I hope and pray that they will continue on their position in support of the Palestinian cause. I say, inshallah, we shall succeed.
I just wanted to break in here for a very important issue related to the Muslim support to Palestine.
So I have.
If you allow me, Professor Masud.
Thank you so much. So I have another question.
I will make it very brief.
Yes.
It's a very important issue here, very important, related to the Muslim support to Palestinian cause. It's not enough that you support us in the international level, United Nations Security Council, General Assembly, other UNICEF and other international organizations. That is fine, and but there's very crucial issue here. The relationship between you and Israel, that is very important, extremely important. As long as you stay far, just like Bangladesh, if the Muslim countries take Bangladesh as an example, how they deal with Israel, how they deal with the state of Israel, there is no recognition, no diplomatic relation, no commercial relation, not even telecommunication, nothing at all. That is one of the greatest support that we ever received from a Muslim state, the greatest one. This is the immunity that this country have, and the leadership of this country play a very important role. In any place in the world, leadership is very important. Without leadership, everything will be lost. It's a chaos. So I believe that the leadership here have a very clear policy related to this issue. There will be no kind of any relation between Bangladesh and Israel, and that help other Muslim country to follow the line, to go to the same path. But unfortunately, at the same time, it's not helping in the Arab worlds. In some Arab worlds. That is unfortunate. So this is for every Bangladeshi to know that this is the greatest support. Maybe they think because they are far away, they cannot support with money, they cannot support with weapons and so on. But what they're doing, believe me, it's very much appreciated. Just stay away from Israel as far as possible. That would represent the greatest support, and don't break.
Your Excellency, very briefly, with the permission of our coordinator,
thank you.
Very briefly, I'll say that this is a state policy of my country.
Please.
It's a state policy of my country. And Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, his second statement in the first OIC summit he joined, he mentioned the name of Palestine, Brothers of Palestine. And since then, it has not changed, Excellency. In every forum, every possible place, Bangladesh is in the forefront in support of Palestine. It is not a matter of money, it is not a matter of technology, or it is not something that Israel has offered us.
It's a principle.
It is during the war, Excellency, they offered us support. They wanted to send us arms. We said, no, thank you. We don't need it. We shall fight with our hands, but not your arms. That was the spirit, Excellency. And remember, I'm telling you that we are proud of that. It is not a matter of Israel. Israelis are Israelis, but is their policy. Israelis, there are good Israelis, bad Israelis, whatever, but the policy of the state of Israel, Excellency, that is something we don't accept. And Bangladesh will never accept, Excellency. And Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, she has been in the forefront in the UN and in other OIC conferences to stand behind and beside you, to give support to Excellency. And rest assured that on this particular case, we stand for principle. We are standing as a principal position of Bangladesh. We shall not come away from that position. And I know that Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, I know her well, and she is a woman, she is a leader, she is a person, the Prime Minister, who has said time and again that this is not the cause of Palestine. This is our cause too, because we suffered and we fought a war. And we fought a war, Excellency, and war against whom? Another Islamic country. But then an Islamic country, if it's killing another Muslims, they were killing us. So we opposed it. We stood against it, and we said, no, you cannot do that. We shall fight for our cause, but you cannot kill our people. And we defeated them, Excellency. And there you are. True. And it's a great honor for me to talk to Excellency on this, thanks to my brother friend, Professor Masud.
Thank you both. Also, I want to thank also Professor Masud
Ambassador
for giving
Waliur
this
Rahman,
opportunity for both of us to speak on my TV to our brothers and sisters in Bangladesh, and ask for everybody to stay safe, and hopefully this pandemic will soon get lost.
Yeah.
We'll be free again.
Yeah.
We'll be free again.
Excellency, I have before we finish, Excellency, I have a question to you in particular.
Please.
Because we have seen in the comment box, Embassy of the State of Palestine, Dhaka, Bangladesh, they have mentioned Joy Bangla. We have a longer and very strong bond, friendship between Palestine and Bangladesh since our Bangabandhu and Yasser Arafat. You know, so you see here Joy Bangla.
Of course.
The Embassy of the State of Palestine has
with honor
given a wonderful
and with pleasure.
This is the level of friendship.
Joy Bangla, Joy Palestine, Joy Arafat, and Joy Bangabandhu.
Thank you. Thank you, Excellency.
Thank you.
Those leaders are our ideal leaders.
We would like to end up.
Those leaders, the history will write their name from letters of gold, including Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, the Ambassador of Palestine, Yousef Ramadan, and the very learned, distinguished, diplomat in Bangladesh, Ambassador Waliur Rahman, has very rightly pointed out so many things. I was just playing as an anchor. I just, hold the anchor. That's all about today. I didn't ask many questions, but you have talked so many things. For technology and other issues, I could not ask so much of questions, but I was happy the way this is flawless, And Ambassador Waliur Rahman, Ambassador Yousef Ramadan, thank you so much. So with this happy note, we would like to end up our session for today. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining. We'll invite you with another very good topic. Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Thank
Always
you.
pleasure.
Thank you very much. So with this, you see there is another comment. There are many comments we have received today. I want to thank the ambassadors and the staff of both Palestine and Bangladesh for taking care of us through this period. Even though I am away from home, I still feel like I'm taken care of. Mr. Jaman Nasir Hamad has given this wonderful comments. Thank you so much. With this happy note, thank you once again, Ambassador Waliur Rahman, Ambassador Yousef Ramadan. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for your time and very valuable talk.
Thank you very
so
much. Thank you.
Thank you.